So this week I introduced the forehand yield or four-quarter yield, whichever you want to refer to it as, and I started working with her feet and also starting to work some transitions online. She picks up so quickly. It's amazing. She's very protective over her feet and especially her back end, and she really doesn't like people touching her tail for some odd reason, and I was able to get a couple of touches in that. This week we've gone in the barn mostly, and I've worked on her standing tied in the barn and being groomed and just, small things with it being so wet that we can work on.
Nice try. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, all the shed has been brushed out.
When I start introducing a four-quarter yield, I start with a little bit of pressure, just kind of a bumping on the cheek and walking into the chest to get the movement, and then eventually it just falls to where I pick up a feel and my horse knows how to do that. And she's kind of almost at that point, so I start introducing a little bit of both to her too. This is her harder side.
Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Look at you. Look at you.
So coming up here, she's going to try to get out of it, and I have to block her.
Good. Good job. That one we had to do some blocking. Think about it. Good girl. Good girl. Which way we go? There, good girl. Good girl. Remember our sin? Good.
So Zoe is starting to understand sin, and she's starting to get the basic hang of lunging. I'm really focusing on pushing at her drive line and getting her to keep the forward impulsion. And she's really good about keeping float in the line. I like that. She did get a little spicy today, but that is okay.
Come on. Forward, please.
Today I'm going to start introducing some transitions from walk to trot on the line, and I'm also going to start using some voice commands with her. I'm not typically a fan of voice commands, but I do think that they're a good idea in certain circumstances, and she could end up in a home where that is needed, so it won't hurt her at all to start figuring that out.
Back up.
There I'm asking her, I don't want her in my space. She can't encroach. And that's not something that she needs to learn regardless. She's typically not bad about that, but I need to set the bar high with that to begin with, and she needs to stay out of my space. She did try to shoulder in on me one other time right there, and I push her out. She doesn't come in on my space. That's my bubble. She has no business being in it unless invited.
Girl. Good. Face up. Good. Good job. Good girl. Nice life. Trot. Good girl. Oh, we got some sass. Come on. Good. Nice. Good girl.
As you can see, she's got some life to her today, and I don't want to discourage that at all. I'd much rather have a horse that has a little life than a deadhead. I think that's great. But also, I don't lose my cool when she does either. It's very important when you're working with a horse, I mean, any horse, number one, not to lose your cool and not to let your emotions cloud your judgment.
Good girl. Good. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I like the life today. What a good girl, Zoe.
I'm very transparent with how I work with and train horses. So I try to keep the videos to a manageable level where I can upload them because I live in BFE, for lack of a better term. So the internet out here isn't that great. But I'm just working on her. She can't just take off on the line is the goal here. She cannot just take off. I need my horse, when I ask, to walk and walk out calmly. And when I ask for life, then I want life. There needs to be a good balance. And so today we're kind of figuring that out a little bit. And she's got, like I said, she's got some sass to her, but that's okay. It's not my job to react to it. It's my job to handle it and channel it.
What a nice young lady. Walk. Walk. Good girl. Walk. Trot. Good girl. Trot.
You can see through the progression of me working with her with this, you can see how much better she gets from just trying to, willing, and she's trying to figure it out. This is honestly the second time I've ever asked her to trot on a line. And she really is taking everything in stride. I'm very proud. So right here, she's going to try to argue with me a little bit, and I have to enforce which direction I'm asking. She was kind of going to test right there and see what she could get away with, and nope, not on my watch.
Good girl. Trot. Trot. No, you're not gonna love it. It's too wet. Good girl.
Right here, she's really starting to pick up on it, and it's a nice controlled trot. It's not just all over the place. She's got some float in the line. She's not really arguing with me. She's doing really well with that. I was very happy to see that, and that was a nice transition, and we'll face up. So now I'm going to start working with her feet, and I started doing that this week. And so the way that I start teaching to pick up the feet, sometimes I'll use a rope. I'm not using a rope with her. I'm actually starting her the way that I started with Phoenix. And what I do is I just start tapping on the leg, much like a fly. And once they pick up, I stop the tapping. So we start with that and we build, and then I'll just slide my hand down and put a little bit of pressure and start to pick it up. And then we work up to where I'll hold the leg for a few seconds, and then I'll let it go. Then we work to the next progression of where I hold the foot up and I put the foot down. It's a slow and steady progression, but I have found that works best when I'm working with feet on horses. And like I said, she is very mindful of her back end, and she's very protective of it. And the fact that I was able to start working with that today is actually pretty cool to me. For brevity's sake, I'm going to speed up parts of this because it's pretty redundant. It's me picking up a hoof, just, trying to gain an inch pretty much. So now I'm going to start working on the back feet here, and I'm just starting. I just want her to lift it. That's all I want right now. We're not going to push it. And she actually, the first time, lifts it, and then she releases. So I'm not going to push that because she is so protective of her back end. That's a good place to let her, let that rest. So here I'm going to go for the back hoof on the other side and start working that. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it's, again, redundant. So here we're just going to check back in with her yielding at the pole and her flexing, and then we're going to end the session on a good note.
Very nice job. Oh, Zoey. Oh, Zoey. I know that's your spot. I know. Good job. Good girl. Let's check in on our flex here. Good. You're so soft, Zoey. Nice.